Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Phillips-LeVan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
come on in and let's do life.
Hey Jason, do you know what month it is?
Rocktober?
No one says that. Let's try that again. Hey Jason, do you know what month it is?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Third time's the charm. Hey Jason, do you know what month it is?
Is it October?
It is October. You win, you win. Oh my gosh. Can you even believe it? Why is October the very best month of them all, Jason?
Because that's when our daughter was born.
No, because it's when I was born. Duh. All right. Our daughter was born too, making me a mom on my birth month. I freaking love all things fall, and October is my jam. It's like my most favorite month. Yes, it is maybe because I was born and our daughter was born, but I love everything about the fall. Well, except one thing. I do not like this one thing. Sam, I am. Jason, you love it though, don't you?
What is it?
Pumpkin spice.
Yuck. Yuck.
Oh man, the pumpkin spice explosion is all over the place. I don't want a latte. I don't want a pumpkin beer. I don't want pumpkin bread. I don't want pumpkin pie. I'm here for all other things fall, but I am not here for the pumpkin spice. Coincidentally, neither is Jason. Sienna's not either. Like, we're not the pumpkin spice family. We're the fall lemon family, but not pumpkin spice. So, Jason, what shall we talk about today?
So I think we're going to talk about fall and our fall faves and traditions and all things fall.
Nothing gets past you, huh? Since I gave you that very large lead into fall. That's a good guess that we were going to talk about fall today.
Right. Yep.
Oh boy. Yes. Fall traditions, our favorite things about fall, give you some tips, what we like to do, maybe give you some ideas on what you like to do. And honestly, I'd love to hear what you like to do. So head on over to socials after you listen to this, or stop right now. Send me a quick DM and tell me, what do you love most about fall? If it's pumpkin spice, you can keep that to yourself. But anything else that's really cool, I'd love to hear about it. All right. So I want to start out by saying, actually, let me ask you a question. I just gave this whole big lead in and I said how much I love it, but what is your favorite season? I guess after 15 years, I should probably know this, but let's pretend.
Fall is good, but I really like spring, too. Spring's a good transition, and you're coming out of that cold winter, or mild winter, in our case, usually. Things start growing, and it's kind of that freshness to it.
Yeah, I would agree. Spring is definitely second place. But fall wins for me. I see
spring and fall as kind of these transition type of seasons.
Yeah, I'm a spring and fall girl. Fall is my favorite, followed closely by spring, I suppose. I love seeing traditions. And I want to start by saying we see people talk about traditions all the time. You see other people's. They post about them on the social media. We know. We see it all the time. What they're doing. And if you're anything like me, I can tell you there was a time, many times, not just one, many times that I would see people share about this tradition or that tradition that they did in the fall or over the holidays or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, that's so great. We don't have anything like that. Or, oh, I wish we would have done that. Wish we would have started that when the kids were little, or wish we could do that. And I would have I would be envious of it.
Yeah. It's that FOMO, some cases it's going back to their childhood, and they've kept this tradition going with, their family, and that's great.
We didn't have a ton of traditions when I was growing up. My parents divorced when I was pretty young, so I can remember the majority of my holidays. I think traditions a lot of times center around holidays, and my holidays, most of the, especially the major ones, were split. I split my time. Like half of Thanksgiving break would be at one and half of the other, and so it didn't always allot for the right amount of time. Christmas, and I was going from house to house, and I mean, there were a few, but there weren't any major traditions, so I didn't carry a lot of those over. Also, we don't live near my family. When I became a parent, I didn't live near my family, so some of those things involved, like, I remember this one very vividly. Christmas morning, we did always go to my aunt's house, and we ate the same thing. She made sausage balls and cheese biscuits, and they are the most delicious thing I ever put in my mouth. But when you don't live there, you don't go to your aunt's house to eat those. And so I recreated them myself, but it's different. So we didn't have a lot that I really carried over. And I don't know if you always know what you want to do until something like comes along and sounds good. You didn't have a lot. We didn't bring any traditions from you, huh?
No, I don't really remember any particular traditions or what I would consider traditions. I mean, there were things that we always did at, those particular holidays. And I guess that's a tradition, but I never thought of it in that kind of context. So.
Yeah. I mean, but I've definitely seen people online and thought, oh man, what a cool idea that they do that every year as a family, or I wish we would have started that. So I'm just here to tell you, if you've ever felt like that, there's nothing keeping you from starting right now. Maybe you wished that you would have started when your kids were young, but you're going to wish that in 5 years from now too. So why not just start something? It's never too late to create a new tradition. And on the double-edged sword of that, try it on. Maybe it looks really romantic or whatever on the grass is greener kind of concept, and you do it and you're like, well, that kind of sucks. Like that took a lot of effort and I don't actually want to incorporate that into a tradition. Or have you been doing something because your family's always done it and you don't enjoy it? Well, I'm giving you permission right now to both start and stop traditions as you see fit and as you bring joy. I think that's what they're supposed to do, is to bring you joy and make you happy about them, not have you feeling left out, not have you feeling like you should have started, and not having you feel like you have to do it because it's always been done.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an obligation, so that doesn't really count as a tradition, I don't think. But yeah, if you want to try something new this year around the holiday or time of year, just start. You don't have to commit. You're not signing a 5-year contract to say, all right, we're going to start a tradition and this is going to be it, and we're going to do this for the next 25 years.
Yeah, you're not locked in. You're really not. So as we talk about fall specifically, I do love October. And one of the things that we do as a family, I don't know if you can call it a tradition. It's just an annual activity, maybe. It's a thing that happens this time of year. And I actually did get the idea from seeing other people go to this one place. They just kept going. And I was like, I want to do that. It was not something I did as a kid. Did you do it as a kid?
Not that I recall.
Yeah,
no.
We didn't bring it from our childhood. I just saw it. I wanted to try it out one year. And that is apple picking, like a family apple picking adventure. Now, what's really funny about this, Jason will tell you the funny part of our apple picking adventure.
So, I don't know how old the kids were at the time, but they're still on the younger side. So, we kind of framed it as this is a family fun activity. We're going to go apple picking. So we plan out basically this whole weekend, right? At least a 2-day apple picking adventure.
Because the apple farm that we choose to go to is about 2 hours north of us. So not that far. Is it 2? Is it longer?
It's about 2.
Yeah, it's not that far, but
half.
A couple hours. It's not like you're not getting there in 10 minutes. It's a couple hours north.
Right. So apple picking itself is, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours. So that's it. And the kids think that's what we're doing. That's apple picking. I mean, we did the apple picking. We picked apples.
We
for
picked
sure.
apples. We went up
A
the
lot
apple
of-
mountain and picked pounds upon pounds of apples. Check.
We did that. There happens to be nearby tons of wineries and breweries and things like that. So it's
A complete coincidence.
right. So kids think it's apple picking fun, family fun time, and it's mostly an adult weekend of breweries and wineries and eating out and good food and just enjoying all the things.
I think it's important to say, though. I mean, our kids, they're not dumb. Like yes, we premised it as apple picking and we still call it our apple picking weekend, but they love all that goes into the rest of it too. Like we climb the mountain, we pick the apples, we eat some snacks on top of the mountain, we come back down. But breweries, especially the ones that we go to, are I don't guess we've ever been to one that's really not. They are family friendly. And so we pack oodles of snacks, some of our favorite things to munch on this time of year. You give our kids a charcuterie board and it's like the best thing in the world, which same for me. So we pack snacks. We go to these breweries that are family friendly. There's game. It's the time of year to be outside and it's enjoyable. So there's cornhole or there's ring toss. The kids get to play and just be outside and run about. And it's
There's board games and there's always dogs.
Yeah.
So, you give them kids snacks. Well, you give our kids snacks and access to dogs. Oh, we're set.
We're set for the whole day. And it's casual, so there's no need to like mind your inside voice or whatever. Half the time we're sitting outside anyway, so we get to have a beer and be outside and we play a board game with them or a round of cornhole, and it is still family fun, but it's so funny because the actual act of apple picking is like a solid 2 hours of this like 3-day experience, but we still call it apple picking weekend. And so we would go to different breweries or wineries and check it out. And it's evolved over the years. I mean, we've taken friends up with us on some of the trips and like rented Airbnbs with people before.
We spent the whole time up near the orchard, or kind of evolved where we would do, the orchard day, and then we come back like halfway back and stay in the city, and then explore the city for another day, and new restaurants, and there might have been more breweries, maybe.
As he scratches his head and can't remember.
I remember.
Right. Yeah, right. But it's evolved. Like we've tried different sections of the city and we've stayed in different places and we've had some people join us and we've done it by ourselves. And now more, it's the three of us. Like I know that our time with Sienna it's limited. I mean, she's going to be 14 soon, and it's so fast and it goes so precious. And I mean, we do things with people and she does things with friends and we have date nights, but I really cherish those moments when we can get together as a family and go out and experience things. And so this has evolved for us into a family weekend, and we're always searching to add to our tradition or our annual event, whatever you want to call it. Do you remember what we did last year? That we made it even like we'd never done this before. I don't know why we decided to do it, but it was fun. Do you remember?
What was it?
Oh boy. So when you go, depending on the time of year that you go to the orchard, certain apples are in season and certain aren't. And when you get there that day, they give you a map and they tell you like, okay, these are the ones in season today and here's where they are on the orchard, and you have to trek about and get the ones that you want. And usually we look at the map and we're like, we don't like that variety. We're not going to go there. We like these. We want a whole bunch of them. So we're going to go there, yada, yada. Well, this year, I think we went and there were like 6 or 7 actually like in season the weekend that we went. And so we just decided we picked what we wanted because we always come home and do things with them, but we were going to get at least one of all the varieties that were ripe. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We like intentionally walked all the areas of the orchard and picked and looked for a good one and got one and like put them in separate bags and labeled them so that we wouldn't like mix them up. And we had these 7 apples set to the side with a label on them specific to what it was. And then we brought them home. Like, we finished out the weekend. We stayed overnight, but we came home that night. Do you remember? It was like Sunday night at the end of our trip, and we washed the apples, and then we did a taste test, like a comparison. I think Sienna even made us little papers to like write notes.
I think so, right.
I'm pretty sure we did like a full-on tasting, which she probably got that from Beer Example at the brewery.
We had a flight of apples.
We had a flight of apples. We ended our weekend with a flight of apples and like compared who liked what, and this was tart and this was chew. It's just one more thing to make it like a fun experience. And we were showered and in our PJs and chilling at home and like reminiscing over the fun weekend that we'd had and taste testing these 7 apples. And we've never done that. We do something different each year to kind of change it up. But it's fun. It's one of the things in the fall that we really look forward to. And it's funny because it's not just the weekend. I think this is with anything. If you really plan a trip or an experience, the planning and the building up into it and the talking about it, and aren't you getting excited? Our apple picking weekend's coming up in a couple weekends. Like, that anticipation is exciting. The actual event and the things that you do that weekend are exciting. And then when we come home, we always make applesauce every year. Like, we really don't do much else. We eat some of the apples straight up, and then we make applesauce. But it's like a whole process of like peeling, like washing and peeling and cutting them. And then we put the crock pots on for like 4 days straight because we make crock pot applesauce, which if you want that recipe, it's on our website, blamephillips.com. You can go grab it. Crock pot applesauce. It's like the easiest thing, no sugar added. And then I put it in cans, quote unquote, jars, and we eat applesauce for the whole year, bake with it and do different things. But it's this whole experience that spans.
The apples are really the least of the whole thing. Like, the apples have a small part in the whole apple picking weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, you start to look forward to it and plan and look for new adventures and new things to check out.
That's one of our favorite things about fall, our favorite activities that we do. I also love football. I love college football. I don't watch NFL football, really. I love college football. Go Dogs, as if there was any other team. I think Jason goes for some bird or something. I'm not sure. What's that funny looking thing you cheer for? I got jokes. Throwing shade. Anyway, we like football. Oh, I love snuggly clothes, like big oversized sweatshirts. And this is the time of year where the weather is perfect. It's a little bit crisp and cool, and it's not so cold that I need to bundle up, but I get to wear some snuggly clothes. I dig it.
You have a little time where you can open the windows and have the fresh air. And
yeah, the leaves are pretty. The leaves are changing. I mean, they make a mess in your yard, but guess who doesn't have a yard to pick up leaves in this year? Yeah,
it's a whole new context now. We'll appreciate the leaves way more. We don't have whatever
now that I don't
60
have to,
bags of leaves.
Go crazy with the raking of the leaves. They're really pretty when you don't have to rake them all up. Also, the arrival of fall foods. I love it. I'm here for a big old pot of chili in the crock pot on a Saturday afternoon when Georgia plays at 8 o'clock that night. And there's this butternut squash, lasagna, kale, sausage situation that I make every fall, and I'm ready for it. It's delicious. But those are things I look forward to. What about you? What do you look forward to?
I like the football for sure, because I'm not a baseball fan. So summertime, especially the end of summer, it's like not a very exciting time of year for sports for me. So football is way different, and I think with football, you're so invested. If you actually follow a football team, every game is so important, so you get invested in it. And I'll do both with the college and the pros, watching those, and then things that go along with that. So sometimes you have football food, so chili or chicken wings and things like that.
I knew you were going to say chicken wings. Those are gross. Him and Sienna tear them up like it's their job.
And then the soups, the things where it's cool out and you come in and you smell the soup and it just I don't know, warms you up in more ways than one.
Especially if it's like stewing in the crock pot all day, and like you're not in there slaving over the kitchen, but when you open that door and you smell it, oh, it's a good day.
And I think you're in that kind of area before the holidays start. So, holidays sure have their traditions, but there's also the stressors that go with that. And the fall, you're able to do some of these fall traditions and the fall experiences, and it's a lot less pressure and a lot less stress because it's not like a holiday.
And it's a good time of year to just take advantage of those things that only come in this season. Embracing the season that we're in, the ability to open your windows and there's no pollen flying in and it's not freezing or it's not so hot, or the explosion of pumpkin spice. If it's your jam, like its season's going to end and peppermint's going to hit. So enjoy the pumpkin spice, do the fire pit and the marshmallows and the things that you can only do in certain seasons. I mean, yes, you can roast marshmallows in the summer, but the fire pit isn't quite as cozy in 90-degree weather as it is in the fall. So I think it's important to ask your family, like, do you know what they look forward to in October and this time of year? Like, what are their traditions? And do you want to make some new ones? Like, remember, I gave you permission in the beginning of the episode. No more FOMO. No more wishing you had some things that if you just fell in love with our apple picking adventure and you're like, I want to go with you guys because that sounds so fun, then let this be the year. And start small. Just find a local orchard near you. You don't have to spend the night. You don't have to do it up like we have. I told you ours has evolved. But if you always wanted to go apple picking, then do that. Make this your year. Or if your family makes a grand adventure to a pumpkin patch and you do all the fun things that pumpkin patch has to offer, then enjoy it. Or if they always go to that same pumpkin patch and you hate that pumpkin patch, you don't have to go anymore. Like, maybe it's time to check in. Is everybody in your family still enjoying the thing that you're doing? Because if you're forcing everyone just for tradition's sake, then that's not what it's all about, I don't think.
Right. It's just like, the apple picking is not about the apples. So it works the other way too. So if it's just a negative experience or a positive experience, that's what you're going for. And those are the memories. It's not about, we got, we did 25 jars of applesauce that year. That was great.
No, I could not tell you how many jars or how many pounds we pick every year. I don't know, and that's not what it's all about. But I can tell you that last year we taste tested and had a flight of apples, and I don't know if it'll always be around, but it's been around a long time. And in my brain, I secretly envision that no matter where we go or what we do, we'll always have some sort of fall weekend thing that we do. And maybe one day I'll take grandkids apple picking, but if no one wants to go and it's lost its luster, then I won't, and I'll find something new. Just like you should. Create your own things and enjoy this season. It's so special. I was born this month. Come on, people.
So get out there and make memories, enjoy the season, appreciate what's around you, and go do life.
Happy October. See you next week.